Okay, y'all, let me explain to y'all how I would write these skits, and I'm just gonna be real with it. Number one, Tamara and Dee, the back and forth. The first time they broke up, and the situation with Zeus, and the fact that Mimi shot him, and you forgave her. Now you find out this child is not yours, and you're upset, and you're telling her she can't leave with the man that is the father of her child. Bruh, you are not with that girl no more. That girl has every right to pack her stuff and leave. And if I was Mimi, I wouldn't have said nothing. I'd just pack my stuff and leave. As soon as he found out that child wasn't his, I'd have packed my stuff and leave. And that's just what I would have done. Now, when it comes down to Tamara, the fact that you left Damien to be with a pastor, the mama don't like you. Anybody else would have been like, you know what? No, I ain't even dealing with this. Because, like I said, they're writing it, he said himself, he's writing it from a male perspective, but not a female perspective. Because at the end of the day, we don't see how any of these characters got together. We know no backstories about them. And I don't like when people start things in the middle and then go backwards. And I see this a lot in a lot of writing. Just like with Harry Potter, they showed the beginning of it about his parents, but then we had to go back to get the backstory, which is fine, because if it's about the child and not about them, eventually we're going to have to go back and look at their situation and how all of this began, which is what Harry Potter did, which is the thing I love about the woman that wrote that. 50 Shades of Grey. I love the book. I didn't like the movie. The movie left a whole lot out. I don't think it should have been a movie. I think it should have been a series. Because, like I said, you need a backstory. You need a backstory. And with 50 Shades of Grey, it could be a series. Because that is 3 books, for God's sakes. But when you are writing, you need a backstory. Just like with Paid in Full, there was a backstory. New Jersey Drive, backstory. Love Jones, backstory. And matter of fact, I think they're supposed to be coming out with a part 2, but I think it's going to be their daughter. But anyway, you need a backstory. If you don't have a backstory, then there's no point. So it's just like Jocelyn. Jocelyn should have had a skit that was just her by herself with Rico and all of that. As far as the drug game, that should have been a completely different skit by itself. And then Amber and Mike and all of that should have been a skit. But they shouldn't be together. Separate the two. Just like the thing with Rico. Why did y'all end it like that? That was stupid. You should have gave him a second chance. While he was in that coma, take it back, rewind it back, and then start a whole new series from going backwards. Because that would have been fine with me. Because then it would have been something interesting. Because Kountry Wayne could have said, we're going to take the Rico, the Jocelyn, and all of that. And we're going to basically start from the beginning of how Jocelyn became who she was, how Frank became who he was, how Ty, and put that together. I would have been better with that. Because you get 3 different stories in one skit. I'm cool with that. But we don't have a backstory on Malachi and Roe, which is something we should have had. So you're bringing characters that we have no idea their story. So you might want to do them backstories, and a lot of people do. They do the backstories of the characters. Like we could have seen the backstory of Brittany and how Rose's relationship was with Malachi. They could do that. You can always do a backstory. A backstory is actually cool because then when you go to up to date, we now see how these characters got here. So you could take Rolanda and basically do like she's dreaming, and you could do her whole entire backstory, how she met Malachi, how they got together. That would be cool. We could see the backstory of how Chase met Candace. You can always do a backstory. And I really think it would be cool to pause this and do backstories. Do a backstory. Because we would love that. We would love to see a backstory of how Anthony, because we do need to see Anthony's family besides Coco. Where is his family at? Just like they bring in Dalen's brother into the skit. Why not bring somebody from Anthony's family? Does he have siblings? Does he have brothers? Like I said, we got to get into these people's lives. Y'all got to get into Shayla. Does Shayla have bipolar? What mental disorder does she have? Because I know she got one. So Wayne, if it was me, I would with Rico, I would take it, and then him wake up out that coma, and wake up and realize he now got a second chance, that he's back. Because I've seen Japanese characters do that, where they'll show they passed away and then they came back from the dead. Yeah, that's what I would do. And I would do the same thing with Malachi. I would go back and have Malachi go back to when that day they got married, and then just start over. Same thing with Amber. Give Amber that backstory of what would have happened if she never slept with Wayne. What would have happened? Because now you giving two different sides of the coin here. Just like with Shayla, what would have happened if Shayla would have never slept with Anthony? How would this have gone? So that way you have two sides of the coin here. Because where else can you go with this? You can't. But why not do the other side of it? What if it didn't happen? What would have happened? Would Anthony and Amber would have been happily ever after? Would Anthony and Amber would have ever gotten together? So yeah, give these characters a chance to make a different decision, and see what happens. Because people will be interested in that. They will be interested in what would have happened if it would have been a different scenario. Because there's nowhere else you can go with these characters. Then Jocelyn is now, now she's free. And then D, same thing happened with D. He ended up going right back to the game. What would have happened if he didn't? What would have happened if he'd have met his mom and them when he was out of the game and she came in? So there's a lot of different scenarios and different ways you could put this. But one you definitely need to give backstory to is Rico. Because that whole Ty Rico situation could have been done much better. Could have been done way differently, because we still got Francisco. We still got other things that, you know what I'm saying? And then the situation with Angel. That situation. What if he ain't dead? Where are you going to go? Because now you're bringing in new characters that we have no idea who they are. And people are disconnecting. So when you bring these characters in, you got to have a backstory. Who are these characters? So that's why I said writing a book is so much easier, because you have the backstory, because the readers know the backstories of the characters. Skits are different. Soap operas are different. Just like Bold and Beautiful. We got a backstory on Bold and Beautiful. We know how they got here. We know about Stephanie and Brooke. And then Taylor and Brooke. And now Stephanie and Hope. We know about General Hospital. We know about Days of Our Lives, As the World Turns. Yeah. Honey, we knew the backstory, because the backstory was presented from day one. Dynasty. Day one. You got to have writers that's going to give these characters backstories. And don't get me wrong, we are fans of all of them, but we need their backstories. And I think what y'all need to do is halt right here and have them do their backstories. Because we will be interesting to see what their lives were prior. And I don't know why people don't start from the beginning. I think there should be one main character and everything else centered around them. Just like Jocelyn. Jocelyn could be the center between Frank and Cho and Rico and all of that. The Wands, the Hongs, and everybody else. She could be the center of that. Because Jocelyn could have a skit by herself. And I think y'all need to take her out and make a skit that's just about her. And then pull Ralphie out when he was back during his drug days. Y'all need to do a power thing with her. You need to make her into like Power, because we need a universe here. At least with Power, we're getting the backstories. And I think, Wayne, y'all need to do the same thing. Do a backstory. But I would make Jocelyn's character like a Power character. Just like Ghost was, that's what Jocelyn would be. Just a female version of her. But then again, I'm just a writer. Just my thoughts.